late morning. They are finding human remains. Chad Daybell in custody tonight. And the big question out there is, okay, now you've got this scene in this backyard. You're digging up remains. What exactly are you doing? What are you looking for? What can you expect to find? Let's remember that JJ and Tylee went missing back in September. And here we are in June. Let's bring Jennifer Shen in. She's former director of the crime lab from San Diego PD. She's retired, 30 years law enforcement experience as a forensic scientist. Chanley Painter's still with us as well. Jennifer, all right, you've done the job. You've been in charge of all of this. What are those investigators doing in the backyard? I saw pictures of tarps. Looks like several different areas. Chanley reporting tonight that remains from 2 different humans were found. What is it like? What are they doing?
Well, crime scenes are pretty complex, and in order to do them properly, it takes a long time. So there are several things that you're trying to do. First of all, you want to go in there and make sure that you document absolutely everything you see. I think it's a really good guess that likely they brought in a cadaver dog because this is such a big property, and those cadaver dogs are trained to go right to where a buried body would be. So you start off with photography and documentation, and then the search for evidence begins. And it can take, I mean, I would assume this case is going to take, or this crime scene will take days to actually collect everything that needs to be collected. There's so much information that can be gotten from an actual grave site, and it needs to be handled very, very systematically, so that you don't miss anything that would be vitally important to helping figure out how the victims were killed and who killed them.
You know, at this point, the information we're getting, and Chanley, you can verify this for me, Rexburg PD was talking about an autopsy already taking place tomorrow. Is that what we understand?
Yes, that is correct. So they recovered human remains. Our sources telling us 2 bodies recovered on Chad Daybell's property. Those will be collected and sent to the autopsy. The press conference that just happened by the Rexburg Police Department didn't confirm exactly when this autopsy was going to take place, but we know it'll be pretty soon, tomorrow or the day after, that they will perform that autopsy to figure out, of course, any way, means that they can tell by what is left of these bodies, how the cause and the manner of death, and of course, identifying exactly whose remains those are found on the property today.
So, Jennifer, September is when these children went missing, last fall. It's been months. It's a long, difficult winter in Idaho, and here we are now in June. Things obviously have thawed out. Still a little chilly today. I think it was a little windy out there. What are going to be some of the challenges in gathering evidence in that over the course of that amount of time, and what would you expect to find?
Well, there definitely will be challenges, and the conditions of the bodies are going to be one of the biggest challenges. There are so many techniques that we can use to identify bodies, even ones that are very decomposed, that I don't think that is going to be the issue. But it is difficult to find evidence of foul play sometimes if the bodies are too decomposed. So then you're really looking at what's in the grave surrounding the victims. Is there anything that you can observe that would help lead to identifying the cause of death? There is certainly a potential of finding toxins or poisons in the bodies still, even if they're very decomposed. There are several ways that you can do that. And, you can look at bones and the damage to the body to see if there was blunt force trauma, that sort of thing, or if there was damage in areas that would indicate suffocation. So there's a lot of work that can be done to determine, A, who these victims are, and B, how they were killed. The longer they're in the ground, the more insect activity and decomposition that occurs, the harder it is to find those answers. But they can still be done, and the people who do this kind of work are very exceptional at it, and they will be able to come up with answers, I'm very sure.
How about connecting the person who put them in the ground forensically, connecting them to that scene? you know, whether it's, you know, this many months later? How about that part of the investigation?
Well, that's why the crime scene has to be done so systematically and so carefully. And we always approach these crime scenes knowing that the ultimate goal is to take all of this evidence and put it in front of a jury. So things have to be very carefully documented, but they also have to be gone through with a fine-tooth comb. And in a grave situation, you have to look at the grave literally in layers, layer by layer, because you do not want to miss any evidence that might be there, whether that's the weapon that's been thrown into the gravesite along with the victim, or if there's tape or plastic or some kind of debris that might have DNA on it, hairs on it, fibers on it, something to connect that you know stuff to an actual suspect. So you don't want to miss out on any of those things. And if you have a body that's very decayed with the decomposition, sometimes it's harder to get evidence that has not been, you know, contaminated beyond being able to be useful. But if you are very systematic about uncovering a body above, to the sides, and below it, you often can find things that will lead you right back to the person that at least put the body into the gravesite.
Jennifer, earlier in the show, our reporter from our affiliate who was out there said they were putting lights up. Can you do this kind of work at night if they did not finish by sundown? Could they continue looking and retrieving evidence after the sun has set?
Yes, you can. And, you know, oftentimes crime scenes occur either late in the day or in the middle of the night. And oftentimes we have to be out there trying to find evidence as quickly as possible because you need to immediately direct your investigators to whom might have done the crime and therefore give them information to go arrest that person. So we don't take breaks for nighttime. So to compensate for that, the police departments and evidence technicians have very, very bright lights, and often they're put up on large poles so they shine down on the scene so that it's lit up as bright as day. It's not, you know, it's not the same as daytime, but the lights are so intense that you actually can light up that scene well enough to continue to work. And once you start opening up the gravesite or opening up a crime scene or starting to collect evidence, you don't want to stop until it's all done for a variety of reasons. One of which would be that you want to get these bodies out as you can give, you know, the family members some information faster versus, you know, slower. So I think there's a variety of reasons that we would just work straight through the night. And I think, again, this crime scene in its entirety is going to take several days before they get through everything that they want to get through.
Jennifer Shen, former director of the Crime Lab, San Diego PD, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Chanley Painter, on top of it, breaking news for us again tonight. Thank you. All right, we got a lot more to get to. One more hour of the program.